So what if you've been reading William Blake's art and poetry all wrong? And what if you read his artwork as invitations to an encounter? And what would happen if you saw his art as windows or icons into another world, as loci of spiritual encounters? This is actually the way Blake wants you to study his art. He wrote this in A Vision of the Last Judgment. He said, "If the spectator could enter into these images in his imagination, approaching them on the fiery chariot of his contemplative thought, then he could enter into Noah's rainbow, could make a friend and companion of one of these images of wonder, which always entreat him to leave mortal things as he must know. Then would he arise from the grave, then would he meet the Lord in the air, and then he would be happy." So because our courses on Versed for 2026 are all directed to showing how non-academic readers can bring about Renaissance moments, both collectively and individually through a revival of the arts and culture, I think it's fitting that we begin with the poetry of William Blake, the most original and imaginative poet of the Romantic revival of spirit in art. And students of this course will even have an opportunity to speak at the end of the course with Mark Vernon. Dr. Mark Vernon is a leading expert on William Blake, and he's also the author of the recent Awake, William Blake and the Power of the Imagination. Many of you on this channel have probably watched my interview with him at the Harvard Divinity School. We're going to have our own interview. We'll have a live interview at the end of the course structured around questions that students have submitted across the course. So it's all going to be structured by your input and curiosities. So this course is going to be structured unlike anything I've ever taught before because it's going to help you use Blake's writings to enrich your own study and creativity. My Wednesday night lectures will introduce you to his literature and art, but the homework assignments and the creative prompts are going to ask you to engage with Blake beyond merely academic study. You'll be invited to share, if you want to, your exercises with the class at the end of lecture, and also the course chat room, which we have on the site, dedicated for exchanging thoughts and asking questions about Blake as we study. But the broader goal is to inspire students to recover the imaginative, visionary, and the contemplative capacities of their reading. So students are prompted each week to practice meditative reading, to train the inner eye through poetry and visual art, and to see art as an encounter. That is, as a way to push against the modern tendency to treat reading as extraction, or just passive consumption. I think we come to books, or at least the next generation or the new generations are coming to books and literature having their tastes and expectations conditioned by digital media and short-form content, which just requires you simply to be the passive consumer of the visual content. William Blake asks us to do something very different, as many of the great literature writers, poets, and thinkers have always done in using language. And so this is going to help retrain your eye off of the digital intoxication and into something more profound and spiritual. Our reading assignments will cover some of Blake's well-known works. So you're going to leave this course having a good understanding of what he did and what he was all about and the literature that he wrote. Our lectures are going to introduce you to the life and times, but our homework is going to ask you to live with Blake's art. So our discussions will give you the academic side, but there's also this other dynamic side where maybe you're a reader, maybe you're an artist, maybe you're a poet, and this course is going to prompt you to use Blake in your art, or to be inspired by Blake in creating your own art, or your own dynamic relationship to literature as a reader. For example, one simple homework assignment asks you to choose an image of Blake's art and to contemplate it for 15 minutes. We have all of these available through the beautiful blakearchive.org, which is a fantastic, just treasure of a website. So you'll have all this for free. You'll be able to choose an image, I say, and try not to break your vision from the image for 15 minutes. Set an audible timer. And just do that. That's one of the first exercises. Report to us in the chat or in the course meetings why you chose the image and what happened during the meditation. Another homework assignment asks you to take a passage from one of our readings, copy it out onto paper, tape it to the front of your phone before bed so it's the first thing you look at when you wake up. Spend the next day with that passage in mind. Set aside time, 5 minutes to an hour, to exercise this passage. Now, exercising the passage could mean meditating upon it. It could mean memorizing it. It could mean going outside with it and putting it into practice somehow. It could also mean using it as a journal prompt. So share your experience with us in the chat after that's done. And we're all going to be doing it, including me. So we'll all be there sharing our interesting results, I'm sure. By the end of this study, those who take this course with me, who complete the readings, come to the meetings, or watch the lectures, you're going to have, first off, a stronger faculty of attention and a better understanding of the practice of contemplative reading. You'll also have an introduction to Blake's poetry, symbolism, and visual imagination. So once you're done with this course, you can go on and be more confident in your reading of Blake's other works. You'll also have practical exercises for visionary and meditative perception that you can then take on into other readings. You'll also gain a deeper understanding of how tradition is made, how it's renewed, how it's carried forward, and reapplied in new contexts. One whole week is going to be about you and the tradition of literature as an artist and as a reader. What does it mean when Blake says, "Drive your plow over the bones of the dead"? What does that mean for you as a reader, as an artist, as a poet? And finally, this is going to give you, I think, a restored confidence in literature that can enlarge your life and help re-enchant the world. So, like I said, it's a very interesting course. It's an experiment. I'm trying it out. There's a lot of things here for a lot of different kinds of readers, including those who are brand new to William Blake. But I hope that by studying his art and meditating upon his art and his poetry, we'll consider how Blake's prophetic art really prompts a renaissance or a revival of perception in a way to cleanse the doors of our perception, as he says. So I hope you'll join us. I do have some discounts for students or for those who need financial consideration. Go to the website. You can find how to ask for that. And if you can pay the full price, that would actually help support me because I am fully funded by you all, public readers. But if not, please don't hesitate to get in touch, especially if you're a student. We want you in this course. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and until next time.